Hey, podcast listeners, welcome back. This is a special episode because I know at some point or another, or especially now, or after Intuition Week, or after a big launch, you will have experienced ascension symptoms. And I want to talk about ascension symptoms. I want to talk about what it's not, and give you some really easy ways to really handle this kind of feeling that might be going on with you. So let's start it off at the beginning. What is an ascension symptom? Basically, when you are going through an expansion or a growth period, you will also get sort of like the aftershock. So what I always teach my students is energy before form. So you might have this big idea for growth or what you want to manifest or make a bigger impact or make more money. And the energy comes into your field. And then when you start to put the work together, then things start to shift. Maybe you start to see more new clients. Maybe you start to get some new connections. Maybe you have a new offer on the table. Maybe you buy a new home. Maybe you have a new relationship, whatever. Things start to come into form. And when that starts to happen, sometimes our energy is like, oh, I mean, I wanted a good thing to happen, but I didn't know it was going to be this good. I don't know how I can handle this. And so sometimes what happens is our ego shows up, because essentially we have disrupted the status quo. Our ego is just trying to keep us safe and to just hold that status quo so that nothing disturbs you. So when you start to dream bigger and things start to shift and change, your ego is like, no, don't do that. Remember that time that you tried to do the thing, but you failed? Remember those people laughing at you when you were really trying to be visible? And then your ego starts to show you these images and starts to deliver this actual visceral response into your body that floods you with fear and worry and anxiety and I don't know, can I do it? Doubt. And so what I love to start with is that is the evidence of your growth. When you start to feel actually kind of shitty, when you feel a little shitty and a little bit worried and a little bit panicked and have a little bit of anxiety, just a touch, it's your system recognizing a shift happening, growth, change, disruption. Because really, the Emily that's here to impact millions of people, back when she started doing energy healing and massage, if you said, all right, you're going to have all these speaking opportunities and you're going to impact the lives of thousands of people, and then it's going to be millions of people, that Emily, that version of me, would have never been able to do it. She wasn't equipped, both energetically, spiritually, financially. She didn't know the strategy. She would have been like, oh, no, you don't. It's because every day, sort of little at a time, I began to peel off and bless and release the old version of myself. Emily 2.0, Emily 3.0, Emily 150.0. And so as I progress and as I ascend, I'm literally becoming a different version of myself, which also can impact our relationships, our friendships, the people who you grew up with and you were super close with, or family members who know you as this one type. And now all of a sudden you're like, I am actually super into spirituality and crystals and astrology and human design and breath work and maybe plant medicine. And really, I want to be responsible for my health and my well-being. And just because you decide on those different things, it then disrupts your friendships as well. So ascension symptoms can happen on that energetic, emotional, and physical level. And they can also start to disrupt the relationships that are also happening in your life. And so I'm going to give you another example of this. So as we're growing, as we're ascending, we're breaking up with ourselves, we're opening up to the next level. We've heard the quote, new level, new devil. And that is kind of like ascension symptoms. So, as a practitioner, healer, I see that, okay, there's an issue, let's say inner child. Okay. When I'm working on my own inner child, or even when I'm working on somebody else's, I know it's not just a one and done. You don't work on your inner child issues and then never again after that would you ever have to look back at your inner child stuff. It's never going to happen. Similarly, on this ascension path, if you are literally trying to grow, make more money, make a bigger impact, it's like a little staircase. And so if you have swept the staircase of, money issues, good. Now we're on the next step. Okay. Daddy issues. Okay. Next step, money issues again. I thought I worked on money issues 2 steps ago. No, this is a new level. This is a new level of your money issue. I know you worked on the money issue at the lower level, but now, congratulations. You hit a new financial milestone. Also, there's a whole new level of money issue shit that you have to deal with up on this level. So it doesn't just go away because you make more money. And I think that's a huge misconception that people, aspire to get to 6 figures, most likely because we've been programmed to think that 6 figures is like the be all end all, which is a totally different subject for another day. However, a lot of people believe that if you hit 6 figures, then you have financial freedom. Then you can do what you want. And you can hire team members and you can go on fancy vacations and you can put away money for a brand new house that you're going to build in a Ferrari. But that's not exactly how it works, for one thing. But also when we have this new level, we have a new level. And there you are. Emily 2.0, 3.0, 4.0, but still the same Emily who went through the stuff that she went through. And I know everybody who is listening on this podcast right now, you have been through some stuff. You wouldn't be here today if you hadn't been through all of that. And I just want to take a moment because the fact that you're listening to this Ascension Symptoms episode, it's also a reflection and an honoring and an acknowledgement of how far you've come. Because even if you hear me saying, oh, I'm Emily 2.0, it's you 2.0 or 3.0 or 100.0, whatever it is. You have gone through some stuff. You've gone through some traumatic stuff. You've gone through some real break you down. This might be the end of you stuff. And you made it through. And so that says you got gumption, you have strength, you have power, you have conviction, you have this endurance now, and you have these lessons now that you can take forward to help other people. I know you're all here to help other people, right? So most likely you've already experienced some of these things. So I'm going to list off a bunch of things that most likely you've already experienced, but it's worthwhile to just rattle them off and mention again. So easy top line, going down. So typically when we're having massive growth and ascension, we will experience or even open up spiritually. So I know a lot of folks who just did intuition week with me, or you're new in my membership and you're listening to so many energy healings. It's kind of cracking you open a little bit. And that's not a bad thing because you're going to become more intuitive. You're going to become more sensitive. You're going to become more awake and aware. And it's just you're going to be flooded with so much insights and inspiration all the time. And also it's new and it sort of hurts a little bit. So, intuition week is a little bit like drinking out of a fire hose. When you're around me so much, you get a lot of energy. And so afterwards can feel like a little bit of a, what just happened exactly? Is everybody okay? Do I have all my limbs? So some of the things that you can feel, especially when you're cracked open energetically, even, you can get headaches. You can get body aches. You can get flu-like symptoms like a detox. So you could even have nausea, vomiting, diarrhea, upset stomach. You can have, sometimes I've seen people who've shared that they have rashes when they're ascending, body pain. So if you have chronic neck issues or chronic back issues, guess what's going to flare up for you? Yeah. When you are going through growth, you're going to notice particular areas, sometimes zones, sometimes a side of the body that begins to flare up for you. So I'll give you a fun example. So recently, when I was opening up for more people coming into Intuition Week and coming into Mastery Ascension, and then integrated energy alignment practitioner training, I'm opening up the energy with my team. And we're only holding the energy. That's it. We're just holding the energy. We're setting intentions. And then I did a retreat. I hosted a retreat in person. And as I was done with the retreat, I always schedule a week off for integration. On my first day, I guess, of integration, I was reaching for something. I was sitting on the couch with my kids and I was reaching for something and my lower back went Heyo, how you doing? And I knew in that moment, like, this could go really bad really fast. I've had chronic low back pain in the past. I've had back spasms. I've had to take muscle relaxers because I was like incapacitated. So I said to my husband, like, please get the ice pack immediately. My back may just have done something weird. I need to ice it right now. And so I put ice on it right away. I put ice on the physical problem, but I knew it had nothing to do with me leaning and reaching over and pulling something on my back. That was a symptom of the ascension that was experienced. So I know, okay, it's time to listen. Our body is always speaking to us. So it's really important that we listen to it. When my back did the funny little thing it did, I could have just been like, oh, it's okay. It just really hurts. I'll just take some pain reliever and, whatever, it's fine, and ignore it. When you have a physical symptom like a headache or nausea, or your back is out and spasming or something, I invite you to go into it. Get curious. What is it that you would like to tell me that I haven't been paying attention to yet? Fortunately for me, and with my back, I knew my back was flaring up almost at the moment I was thinking that I was fine to kind of work a little bit that week. My body was like, oh, no, you don't, bitch. No, thank you. You're not working. You are resting. You are integrating. This is not the time to go play and have little fun work dates and all that. No, it's not this week. And so I rested. And what's interesting is a couple of days later, I was actually feeling better. I went for a long walk. And when I came home, I was stretching with my son. Guess what I thought again? Stupid me. Oh, I feel fine. I'll go do something. Guess what? My back flared up again. So this is your body is giving you the flashing red lights. Pay attention, slow down, get with it, or you pay the price. So when I actually listened and I stopped making all these plans, even though they were just in my head, my body fully recovered, and it happened really fast. I have friends, like one of my close friends, she said that her back had flared up when she was doing something recently as well. Seeing your physical body showing you where it hurts is also great information. Where your information is coming in it means something. So maybe it is your head, maybe it is your forehead. A lot of times when people are opening up with their intuition, you have all kinds of forehead and sometimes sinus pain because it's like your third eye is like literally opening up, energetically opening, not literally open. Your face is still where it is, but you're energetically really being open and stretched. That is what happens. It's completely normal. And to know, oh, it's not just head pain in my sinuses or like my neck. It's actually my body's trying to tell me something. So the best thing that you can start to do for your ascension pain is, number one, like you've heard me say, is to tune into it, listen to it, get curious, go into where is it located? Because also we talk about energy centers, and your energy centers store everywhere in your body stores energy, but we have specific energy centers. So let's just talk about that for one quick second. Where it hits you in your body can also relay a lot of information. You can do a simple Google search, like, what does it mean when I have this thing in my body energetically? So what the easiest way to start to avoid ascension symptoms is to do things on a regular basis. So one of the first things I do is I drink excessive amounts of water. So I always have like a giant mason jar of water on my desk at all times. If I normally drink like 3 of those a day, I might have 4 or 5 of them a day. I'm really increasing my water significantly, because when you think of like an athlete who is really pushing themselves, and your muscles get sore, when you drink more water, it helps to flush out the lactic acid that makes your muscles sore. Okay, so the same goes for when you're energetically open or you're ascending, you're making more impact, you're making more money. When things are going right, you might have that ego that says, no, sabotage, danger, don't keep going. So when you drink more water, and you can actually help your body flush through some of those things, the thoughts, the feelings. Likewise, you want to get outside in nature. So getting outside in nature, putting your feet on the ground if you can, being with a tree, a plant, a mineral, even by the ocean or the lake, like really make the space to get outside, to really ground yourself. Eating foods that feel nourishing to you. It doesn't need to be the healthiest food of all time, but I will say I have spoken to very few people in all my years, 23 plus years, that people actually crave something that was really toxic or unhealthy for them during an ascension. Typically, we're looking for warming foods or nourishing foods. Sometimes it's teas or soups or herbs, root vegetables, obviously super grounding. But don't be afraid if your body is like craving chocolate cake. It might be your inner child that's healing and she just needs a piece of chocolate cake. So just really honor your body wherever it is and whatever it needs. Sleep. Sleep is one of the best things you can do for your ascension. It's underrated because sometimes sleep can be fleeting, but really being able to prioritize getting enough sleep is going to help your whole body to rest, to heal, to go into that theta brainwave, to really go into like a deep, deep state of healing and as well as recovery. So you'll bounce back faster. And I also just mentioned it a minute ago, which is integration time. We're so busy going that we don't actually make the space to intentionally rest. When you get too sick because your ascension symptoms take you out with a stomach bug or a cold or flu or back pain, whatever, and you literally cannot work, then it's time to obviously pump the brakes. That's what happens when you don't listen. So if you are smart, you get ahead of it and you go, all right, I know this is a busy season. I'm going to plan for a quiet season, or at least a break or a rest or a little mini retreat or whatever you can do to actually make the space to intentionally shut down all the systems, reboot, and come back online. I promise you what happens is you become that different next 0.0 person faster. And then you don't have to get sick and feel like junk for a week and then have to rebuild and like cancel all the things. But also part of what we can do and process through ascension is the things that we're not willing to look at when we're just being busy. So one of my team members, this happened to her when I was in my integration week, she was integrating at the same time. And so I remember she wanted to work all week, and that was great. We had a lot of things going on, but then she started to feel a little crummy. And so she had to reschedule some of her meetings. And the next day came and she still felt crummy. And I remember talking to her and she's like, I don't know. I don't want to have to cancel again. I already canceled before. And I'm like, you're allowed to cancel twice, right? She's like, what? And it was foreign to her. And I said, would you like some support or like coaching around this? I don't have to, but if you want it, it's here. And she said, sure. Yeah, I would love it. I go, okay, well, let's look at that. Like, what is the story that you are telling yourself that happens if you were to cancel again? And she said, well, that I'm unprofessional and that it's really flaky of me. And I said, okay, that's great. This is just the information that your ego is feeding you to keep you exactly as status quo, just where you are. Don't grow, don't move, don't change, right? And I said, well, what I would offer you is, number one, you are one of the most professional people I have ever met in my entire life. You are always on time. You're very punctual. You hit punctual. You hit deadlines. You get everybody to hit their deadlines. And in fact, that's been your role doing various things in my business as well as other people. You are exactly that professional person and you're not flaky whatsoever. So, is it true? Let's ask you that. Are you flaky and unprofessional? And she said, no, I'm not. I said, okay, so how do you show up when you believe that thought? Now, this is the work by Byron Katie. This is not my genius. This is Byron Katie's work. So if you've never heard of her, Loving What Is a great book to start with and to do these 4 questions. So you ask, is it true? And she says, no. I said, okay, so can you absolutely be sure? And she said, no, it's not true. So how do you show up when you believe that thought? She says, well, I force myself to do these meetings that I'm really not feeling up to. I said, okay, well, think about that. Think about the person on the other side of that call that's getting you at like kind of half-ass. Like you're doing it, you're showing up, you're doing the work, you're on the meeting, but all the while you're feeling like crap and your brain and your energy and everything in you is just not at 100%. How do you think they feel when that's what they're getting from you? They're not getting the best version of you. So that is another reason to understand why it's actually important to cancel when you don't feel well, so that you can be 100% present for all of your appointments and for your work. That is actually more professional to cancel so that you can be 100% instead of being unprofessional and flaky and showing up like halfway laying down in your chair and like looking like total death. So see how you can kind of reframe it. And then who would you be if you let go of that, if you let go of that thought? If you were free from that thought, how would you then show up? Oh, wow. If I was free from that thought, I would show up. I would cancel my appointments until I felt better. That would be fine. And I would feel more freedom. I would feel release. I would feel relief. So that's what happened. So she was able to cancel appointments. And she said, you're right. I felt instant relief as soon as I canceled and rescheduled. And actually, the person who I changed the appointment with said, you have a right to be sick and you have every right to not feel good and to change your appointments. And even that was another lesson that she got, which was, I can only be sick when it's convenient. And so I share this story with you because I think we all have these stories that we make up that keep us kind of small, kind of stagnant in our issues without actually giving ourselves the space to rest, to regenerate, and to then become ourselves, our true selves. And so again, if you are experiencing ascension symptoms, which by the way, you should be, if you're here, if you're an entrepreneur, if you're a healer, if you're a leader, if you are a coach and you are wanting to make an impact, you are going to experience this stuff probably more often than not. And so the other thing I would invite you to do, and this is my last tip, is get comfortable with it. This is your new normal. Again, you feel like these things are happening, your life is changing, family, friends, all your body, you're getting these different symptoms. You and your body have to become your number one priority. If you can focus on your health and your healing, everything else starts to come back and come together for you. So make sure that you spend the time, even if it's just a day, it doesn't have to be a whole week off, but give yourself the space to have the space. Give yourself permission. Take the day, take the week without the guilt, without the worry, without wondering of like, who's going to do this? If I don't do it, no one else can. No bullshit. It's going to get done. So trust it's going to get done. And when you prioritize yourself, you prioritize your needs, you will grow faster. You will overcome those ascension symptoms and you will be off to the next level. I'm not telling you it's going to be a pain-free level, but I will guarantee it's going to be a new level. So make this your new normal and take good care of yourself. So if this episode was helpful for you, please share it far and wide. Tell a friend, tell a fellow entrepreneur, fellow coach, fellow healer. Let them know that what they're going through is actually really normal. And here's somebody explaining a little bit more in detail. As always, your feedback, your reviews, your comments, your questions, they mean the world to me. And I love seeing them over on my YouTube channel, on my podcast as a review, and for sure on social media, on Instagram and on Facebook. So if you haven't subscribed to the podcast, do it today. Follow me on your favorite listening platform. And you can also get an audio and visual version of this podcast over at emilyarons.com/YouTube. You can watch the whole thing, share it over on YouTube, and share it on your favorite platform. Thanks so much for being here. Lots of love to you. We'll see you on the next episode.